lay down and give up the fight. No, no, you must stand tall, stand up for yourself. Don't let them make you feel you're not right. Stay strong. Don't take it personal. Just protect your feelings. Have trust. Your faith will carry you on. Believe in yourself. Keep believing. Keep on, keep on. Believe in your power. Keep on. Every day, every hour. It's not how you fall, but how you get up. Don't let them make you feel you can't change. No, no. Show 'em.
Good morning. Would you like a program?
Welcome to the center. This is the place where love is. Every moment of every moment. Come join us.
I'm Christy Love. I used to be with the Platters, but now I have my own original musical play that I've written called The Soul of Rock and Roll. Come on down to the Public Library, East Flamingo, Clark County, January 18th at 7 p.m., January 19th at 2 p.m. Get there early. It looks like it's going to be a lot of people because they're excited. This is a story about the original beginnings of rock and roll, going back in jazz and race music and the blues. Come and learn something. Come and be entertained, be enlightened. We're here at the Science of Mind, and we're doing a show for them, and we're going to do that show for you. You don't want to miss it. Have a good time.
Peace and blessings to you. Good morning. And as we take a moment to allow ourselves to center in from our travels to reach here, to come into this sanctuary, allowing yourself to settle into your seat. And as you do so, we begin to let go. Taking in a deep breath here, breathing in, breathing out. Another deep breath, breathing in, breathing out. Allow yourself just to melt into the seat, reminding the body that it is supported. Feeling the arms relax, the legs relax. If you haven't yet, just gently close your eyes. And as we move into silence, just move into silence. A little bit deeper, a little bit deeper. And as we take in this breath of life, we get to be reminded that this is Source, that this is Spirit. As Spirit, Kundalini, Chi, Pranayama, regardless of what part of the planet we hail from, it's simply this breath of life that enables us to come here and have this human experience. Taking in a deep breath, breathing in, breathing out. Going in even a little bit deeper, settling in here, right now. For this is the first breath of this moment. The first breath that we're taking into our life, into this vessel that we call a human body. And as mind chatter comes up, we acknowledge mind chatter and we return right back to our breath. Taking a deep breath, breathing in, breathing out. we sit here in this moment, we're reminded that we can always invite in more peace, more joy, more tranquility into our life in this breath and in every breath. As we step into this new day, into this new year, into this new decade, into this new us, and the expression of the Spirit right here, right now. Taking a deep breath, breathing in, breathing out. There is only one. While we are each here in this unique human vessels, we are simply spirit. We are one heartbeat. We acknowledge this by saying it, so it is. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. And Happy New Year.
As you show
Oh, right there, get you. I love this one. Is it all right if I ask you to just look around at each other? You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. Yes, that's how it goes. You are the face of God. Oh, look how pretty you are. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart always. My family. You are the face of God. You are my family. You are the face of God. I recognize that there is only one God. One spirit, one love, one mind. God is the all-knowing, omnipresent Spirit. God is all intelligence. And I know I am one with God because my spirit is alive, conscious, aware, and creative. And what I know is true for me is also true for every person sitting in this place. I know that to be a spiritual is to be creative. And so today I declare that I choose to live my life knowing that God is with me every step and that I co-create my life from this moment on with God. I also know that God cannot fail, therefore, my life is successful. And I know that the center is here present to guide me, to show me the way, to cheer me on, and to be at service. In choosing to be part of the center, I am choosing to be loving and kind to all around me. I know that the message that Reverend Stacy and Reverend Cheryl have prepared comes from God. And so as I sit here and listen to that message being delivered with love, I take all in and I take it out into my community to share the message through my life. I know that God is at the beginning of every creation. And so today I stand here in holy ground knowing that God holds my hand and takes me where I choose to go. I am so grateful for the way life is. And I'm grateful that the law takes my word and always says yes. I'm grateful for the center and all the volunteers, the musicians, the practitioners, the people that show up to make this place happen. And so with the assurance that God is At every step I take, I simply release my word into the lot, knowing it is done. And join me in saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Carmen. Michael and Carmen. Getting us ready for our big up-tempo congregational.
Yeah. I mean, am I ready? Oh, yeah!
You know how this one goes, right? Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody hear me. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody hear me. Let us be reminded by who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, oh, hey, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's sing it out. Woo. Everybody, get up on your feet. Yes, see the light. Everybody meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody meet. Let us be reminded by who we've come to be. We are love, we are one, right? One big family. Hey, hey, I hope so, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 come on, bridge, yeah, yeah. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. I see you. Be the light. Everybody meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody meet. Let us be reminded by who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, can't hear you. Hey, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. Bridge, yes. You and me knows all the sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet. You are. See the light. Everybody. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody. Let us be reminded by who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. You guys like to get down. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Oh, you're so pretty.
So are you. Eddie Powers and Dave, yes. Not like you, not like you. Yes, yes. While you're standing, if it's comfortable for you, if you would please say with me, God bless America and the rest of the world, and just turn to a neighbor and say Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
I would love to introduce you to, but I know that you are very familiar with our friend Christy Love Brooks. She hasn't been here in a while, and my bad. And this will not be the first time for forever. You will come back and see us again. Your voice is lovely, and you wrote some incredible music. And I know that you have a show coming up that I'm not going to talk about because obviously I'm mainly a singer. But you do have this show coming up, The Soul of Rock and Roll. And I cannot wait to see it. So guys, keep your calendars open, January 18th and 19th. It's free to the public. It's at the Clark County Library in the main theater. And you are going to kick some... I'm trying to keep it nice, it's church. Please welcome the incredible voice of Christy Love Brooks.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here with you today. And as she said, I have a show, and I'm going to do a couple of the songs from my musical, and because they fit with your theme today, being grounded. And we're being grounded when we believe in ourselves. And that this song actually sung to one of the characters because he has always been picked on, bullied on, and to encourage you to believe in yourself because you do have the power in your soul. You do have the ability to take the confidence within yourself, and then others will believe in you too. So this is called Believe in Yourself. We're gonna rock like Patty did today.
Wow.
Like Patty did.
I know you're gonna. I mean, look at her, she's beautiful.
Oh, God bless your heart. Take us one more.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
We're all beautiful. We all have that one light, aren't we?
Yeah.
I can feel the aura all across the whole room. It's beautiful.
You're my mirror.
Yes. All right, we're ready. You can clap, but you can just rock. Keep on. Believe in yourself. Believe. Keep believing. You got the power. Keep on. Keep on. What do you do when you have given up hope? Do you just lay down and give up the fight? No, no. You must stand tall. Stand up for yourself. Don't let them make you feel you're not right. Stay strong. Don't take it personal. Just protect your feelings. Have trust. Your faith will carry you on. Believe in yourself. Keep believing. Keep on, keep on. Believe in your power. Keep on. Every day, every hour. It's not how you fall, but how you get up. Don't let them make you feel you can't change. No, no. Show all the world what you have in your heart. Just show them all the courage you bring. Stand firm. Just take it personal. Just protect your feelings. Be strong. You have the strength to carry on. Believe in yourself. Keep believing. You have the power. Oh, every hour. Keep on, keep on. Believe, sing with me. In yourself. Keep believing. Keep believing. You got the power. In your power. Keep believing. Keep believing. Anytime, good times. You are the best. Forget all the rest. You have the strength and the power. There's power in your soul. This you must know. You must have a fight. You gotta show them you can fight. Don't let them think that you are alone, cause you stay in the zone. Keep it real when you're at the right. Just let them see who you are. Let
can see that nobody else will stand up like you for yourself. That's why you gotta believe in yourself. Come on, everybody. Keep believing. Believe in yourself. Stand up. Here we go. Believe in yourself. Stand up. Let me see you. Believe. Keep on. You must believe. Keep believing. God bless you. Stay strong. Happy New Year. Happy New You. Yeah, Happy New You. Wow. Let me move this, get this out of the way. Reverend Cheryl, I thought you were joining me. This is Stacy. You just sit back, kick back, relax. Oh, my sister. But we got some work to do here. You signed up for it, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
You signed up for it. In the beginning, God. So I'm here to talk about the who, what, and the why. The who, what, and the why. The who, God. Infinite Spirit. Divine intelligence. Love. The universe. Jesus. Buddha. Baha'u'llah. There's a song like that, right? It's just the one thing going on. You could call it whatever you want to call it. Nirvana. It's all the same thing. Depending on, as Michael spoke to us, as he did his beautiful century. Thank you, Michael. Yes. Depending on what part of the planet you came from, it might be called something different. But it's all just the same thing. That which is the Creator. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Before there were planets, before there were stars, before there were mountains, before there were fish and reptiles and birds, before there was you or I or anybody that looked like us, before there was any physical form, there was the Creator, God. It is God's nature to create. God is triune in nature. This spirit, soul, body. It's not just a pretty thing like Cheryl and I. She has a purpose. You like that? Spirit, soul, body. It creates through the use of the universal mind. It creates by using the law of mind. And it loved itself so much. It being God. You can't offend it. It, the thing itself, as Dr. Holmes calls it, loved itself so much that it created each one of us here. Each one of those people that we don't necessarily care for was created by the same Creator, by the way. Yes, Patty, yes. God created all things. All things. And through God, because God loved itself so much, it created us and gave us the same ability to create through the use of the law of mind and action. It's our individualized use of the law of mind and action. Science of Mind textbook. Page 64. I think they just slipped this in here for me for my talk today, which I'm very grateful.
That's my stuff.
Reverend Cheryl's in the house. And there's a chapter called In the Beginning God, which mirrors the chapter in the Bible. The first part in Genesis says, In the beginning God. And this is the story of creation simplified. I'd like to read this to you. Without repeating the well-known account, rather accounts for there are two of creation, as given in the Bible, let us say that someone, generally thought to have been Moses, in expounding his idea of how creation came into being, put his thoughts into the form of an allegory or symbolic story
Let us restate this story in our own words and see what we shall have. God, meaning the Supreme Spirit or intelligence of the universe, was conscious of, it says himself, but itself, prior to the creation of any special world system. Thus being conscious and desiring to manifest in form, it did so manifest through the power of its word, which is law. God is not only pure spirit or intelligence, it is also perfect and immutable law. As pure spirit, it governs the universe through the power of its word. Hence, when it speaks, its word becomes law. The law must obey. The law is mechanical. The word is spontaneous. God cannot speak a word which contradicts its own nature. Now, since God is pure intelligence and endless being, it is always creating. It is its nature to create, but being all it is, must act within itself. And the word of spirit, spoken within itself, sets the law, which is also in itself in motion. The result is creation. The word is the mold, which acting through law produces form. As there are many words, so there are many forms, each distinct and each an individualized idea of God. Since the word of God is permanent, when it speaks, that word is equipped to perpetuate itself, even as the seed contains within itself all that is necessary for the reproduction of its kind. It does not become another kind, for this would produce confusion, and the divine mind is never confused. God made the mechanical universe, the plant and animal life, but this does not satisfy it. For it wished to create a being who could respond to and understand it. That's you and I. So it created a being who had real life within itself. It could do this only by imparting its own nature to this being, whom he called man and woman. It must make it in its own image and likeness. Man and woman must be created out of the stuff of eternity, if he or she is to have real being. Humanity must partake of the nature of divinity if it is to have real life. So God made man and woman from the essence of itself and clothed this subtle essence with definite form. Spirit is changeless, it is deathless. Each of us are eternal, we're immortal. Each of us create through the power of our word. Each of us have created some stuff this year or last year, 2019, that maybe we didn't like so much. We created some really good stuff too. But today is that day that we get to let go, release and let go, as I say, of that other stuff that we created that we're not so happy with. Where is God? In and around and through all things. Why is God? Because it is love. And that's what's needed for this world to be. Just love is all we need. And so that's why God created each and everything. That's why we're here. Now perhaps we've created some stuff in 2019 that did not come from love. And we blame and shame ourselves. Is that healthy or productive? No. So Reverend Cheryl's going to give you an opportunity, and me an opportunity to get rid of that stuff. Perhaps I was not so kind. Perhaps it was perceived that I was not so kind. Perhaps I was not grateful. Perhaps I showed up not loving. All of it is temporary. I can change it with a stroke of a pen right here and right now. You all in? Yeah. All right, Reverend Cheryl. Thank you, Reverend Stacy. Thanks for noticing I didn't have my glasses. Oh, I love new beginnings, sometimes. But it's always an opportunity for good, more good, because I ought to have it. Okay, today is a very special service, and it's I'll say our annual burning bowl ceremony. However, the last 2 years we actually did dissolving bowl. However, we're going to light something on fire today. So yes. I know I want someone to all know where the fire extinguishers are. Besides me. We do this at the beginning of the year to take advantage of this starting line that we call New Year, and even further advantage of this thing we call New Decade. So let's talk about the mechanics of this, the burning bowl. Everyone should have a small piece of paper that feels like tissue paper and a pen or pencil. And if you don't, please raise your hand and the ushers will bring you one. Please use the one the ushers bring you because real paper takes longer to burn. And I will take it out of the bowl and burn yours later if you do that. So please raise your hand if you need a pen, paper, glass of water. Oh yeah, see, I was gonna say that, but I think we need the air on or something. It's kind of warm in here.
It is warm.
Yes, thank you. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna bring this over here. Reverend Stacy will demonstrate. She didn't know she was going to demonstrate. Well, I didn't want to cause, I had a bigger sheet, but it made too big of a poof, and I didn't want my hair to catch on fire. Now I know some of you, Reverend Stacy's going to demonstrate. It feels like tissue, but you can write on it, I promise. Oh, you already have one, excuse me. So I know some of you made New Year's resolutions, and people still do that. I think most people do, or even if you don't, you make some sort of promise to yourself. Maybe not formally, just to have that sense of new beginning. Stand to the side so everyone can see. You know, a lot of us look ahead in the upcoming and think, all right, this is it. This year, I'm going to whatever it is. It may be the same thing you told yourself in 2015, I don't know. But this year is the year. Now, some of you may not have told yourself that. You know, Reverend Stacy, just had a conscious creation workshop where we went over, what we wanted to create for ourselves, and where we noticed, we wrote down and thought about what we created consciously and what we created unconsciously. And my revelation was that those are not two separate things. The veil between conscious and unconscious is so thin, it's scary a little bit. But to know that you create your world and your life the way you want it, I think it's an awesome, powerful revelation.
conscious or unconscious, trained or not trained. What I want to support us in doing is to be about this awareness and this newness and very consciously go through the ceremony. So we're going to go through a couple of processes where we have a chance to let go of some old inhibiting ideas and practices that stifle us. And we'll give attention to that, to what this year can bring. We'll bring in the new by realizing that this life is truly filled with blessings that have been awaiting, simply waiting our acceptance of them. Today we're going to look at some doingness, as we do some goal setting. Some of you, I'm sure, have already done that. But let me talk to you for a minute about beingness instead of doingness, which is where I believe that conscious creation really is at. Does anyone agree with me? Because you're looking at me. Thank you. I didn't see any heads nodding. Your beingness, the full expression of your life, includes being happy, healthy, being loved and loving, being successful, being prosperous, abundant, being wise, witty, and wonderful, being intelligent, being strong and self-confident, being enthusiastic, enlightened, and enriched. Think of the song that Michelle sang last week. Edified and even entertained. You deserve loving and supportive relationships. You do. A splendid place to lay your head at night. Peace of mind, self-expression, and just total joy of living. Complete and total joy. Even when you're crying. Have anyone ever seen anyone joy cry? Isn't that like the best, cutest thing you ever saw? It is to me. Life is to be experienced and expressed just that way, joyfully. So the first thing we have to do is accept more good into our life and make room for it. If you want a new wardrobe, clean out your closet. Hush, Stacy. Let go of some things. And similarly, if you want to do some spiritual, emotional, and mental releasing, you want to release some things so you can move forward, so you can move on. Are you still carrying something that's no longer serving you? Holding on to, what doesn't matter what it is. It could be a relationship that has failed and you know it. A business that has failed and you know it. Mistakes, injustices, wronged, lost opportunities, resentments. Set up a block in your consciousness so that we cannot, have you set up a block in your consciousness so you cannot open it and illumine the answer? The answer's in the prayer. And we have practitioners that all over the place that can assist you with that. Life is a flow. And just when you're not giving, we restrict that flow. We also restrict it by staying stuck in our anger and our fear and our old ideas. I dare to say that we're spiritually constipated. I'm just saying. On that note, I'd like you to just take a deep breath. One more time. See, we have to let go of some old stuff before we can accept some new stuff. And you probably know what some of that stuff is for you. I know you do. Have you thought that you can't do that? You can't do whatever it is? You don't have what it takes, you're too old, you're too young, you're not educated enough, you know too much. You must be a teenager. You're too big, you're too little, you're the wrong color, you're the wrong sex. Whatever beliefs you brought into that do not support you, this is your opportunity to let them go. If it doesn't support your growth, your unfoldment as a spiritual, vital child of spirit, the divine, that is who each of you are. Because there's only one mind, and we all live in that mind. Whatever you thought of yourself that isn't loving or nurturing or kind, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not true. Please believe me, it is not the truth of who you are. God knows the truth about you. I know the truth about you. That you're made, as Reverend Stacy said, in its image and likeness. And God didn't create no junk. Spirit did not screw up when it made you. So all those limiting ideas are not valid, people. So this is going to be our opportunity to release them and let them go. So, if it's comfortable for you, please close your eyes. And just turn within. I want you to take a couple of deep breaths. Now ask yourself, what ideas, resentment, unforgiveness, or opinions am I harboring that is preventing me from moving ahead? What's restricting the flow of good in and through my life? And now that something or someone has come to mind, if they haven't, I'll give you another few seconds. Just keep breathing. Keep asking yourself, how am I benefiting from hanging on to this? I'm here to tell you your life is far too precious for you to continue to be poisoned by whatever it is. And I'm telling you that it's okay to step forward. And when you're ready, open your eyes, find your piece of paper, and write that idea or that thought down. No one's going to read them. It's a private matter. You can even do shorthand since I gave you such a small piece of paper, if you know it. That idea, that thought that no longer serves you. Okay, so we're going to come to the burning bowl, and on the way, our practitioners and Stacy and I will bless those things that no longer serve you. And as you burn those old ideas, feel them literally, and feel yourself literally letting them go. We'll start with the first row. You could all stand, and as the rows come, let it go. Yeah, that's the idea, let it go. You don't have to watch it burn, it'll burn. Let it all. Awesome, let it go, girl. Some people wrote books. Once it catches fire, just let it go. That's the exercise. Just remember to let it go. It's gone. Let it go.
sit on Mount This can go up.
Doesn't that look good? I'm just standing here. I like it.
Hi, babe. I'm releasing and letting go.
And once this side is done, this section can start coming in. All right. Whatever that was, it's never about you again. Oh, wow. This is there it is. There you go. Oh, this is so sweet. There you go. All right. Come on. Come on, anyone else? Have something to let go? Come on, Yeah, 2 or 3 pieces of paper. Wow. That's exciting. I can't wait to see what happens in 2020. This is done. That's gone. All right. No, not at all. Let it go. Release. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. We got you, girl. Yeah. No way. You know what? Have any of you noticed how it doesn't take a lot just to let it go?
You look like you're in trouble.
We just have one little flame here.
Thought I had to do it all. But I did not.
Thank you, Pastor. Let it go.
Didn't know the love of God was in but
Your divine nature is peace, its power, its joy, its love, its abundance. If you're experiencing lack or limitation in any area of your life, it is not the truth of your being. Let it go. Experience that which you were born to experience. Be the love, be the light, and shine so brightly that everyone wants to be around you. That's what we're here to be. You are love and you are loved. You are joy, you are peace. You are an amazing, beneficial presence of the planet. So live into that. Be it. Because it's who you are. It's like old home week.
Anyone have anything else to release? We have all the time.
There was a time in my life. Well, I thought I had to do it all by myself. Well, I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was right at hand. And yes, but now I can see if you are worried, you're struggling just to make it through. Yeah, one more day. We've got to let it go. You gonna help me? And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. 'Cause I'm only here for God. Come on. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Come on, I release, yeah, and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. When my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for. Keep it going. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Come on. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. Yes, I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Here we go. I am free right here in His Spirit. Oh, yes. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah. We
So let it go.
And so now we get to replace that. Replace that, because now we're unstuck. And we're off to be that new version of ourselves. And so your homework this week, if you choose to accept it, your homework is to replace that you let go with what you want in 2020. It's all up to you. There's nothing in your way now. And if you still feel stuck, please see myself or Reverend Cheryl or one of these beautiful practitioners. Because if you're stuck, it's not the truth of who you are. You've done nothing wrong. So be your beautiful selves. We're the best of the best. And there's nothing in your way now. Reverend Cheryl and I love and adore you and appreciate you. Happy New Year and Happy New You.
There's what I call a prayer in the Science of Mind textbook. At the beginning of every year, I want to read it. But I would like all of you to assume the position. A prayerful, Lord, close your eyes, whatever is comfortable for you. And just listen to these words. Starting on page 56 of the Science of Mind textbook, written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. I am a center in the divine mind, a point of God-conscious life, truth and action. My affairs are divinely guided and guarded into right action, into correct results. Everything I do, say, or think is stimulated by the truth. There is power in this word that I speak, because it is of the truth, and it is the truth. There is perfect and continuous right action in my life and my affairs. All belief in wrong action is dispelled and made negative. Right action alone has power, and right action is power. And power is God, the living Spirit Almighty. This Spirit animates everything that I do, say, or think. Ideas come to me daily, and these ideas are divine ideas. They direct me and sustain me without effort. I am continuously directed. I'm compelled to do the right thing at the right time, to say the right word at the right time, to follow the right course at all times. All suggestion of age, poverty, limitation, or unhappiness is uprooted from my mind and cannot gain interest into my thoughts. I am happy, well, and filled with perfect life. I live in the spirit of truth and am conscious that the spirit of truth lives in me. My word is the law unto its own manifestation and will bring to me or cause me to be brought to its fulfillment. There is no unbelief, no doubt, no uncertainty. I know, and I know that I know. Let every thought or doubt vanish from my mind, that I may know the truth, and the truth may make me free. And so it is.
Well, I think you two are the best of the best. What do you think about that? You just told me the truth is going to set me free, and I'm telling the truth.
You're free, man. You're free. Thank God, I am free. I love this journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverends, for having us today. It's incredible. I definitely have released some things. Wish I would have had a notebook, though, to be able to write them on, so I feel it's a little bit fair. It's fine. Happy 2020. It's going to be better. It already is. You know, it already is. I'm going to accept it. You and I had words. You're right. Okay. Mom's always right. This mom. I just want you to know how happy I am that you had time in your life to make for us. Please welcome up again the beautiful Christy Love Brooks.
You told me twice. Stand here.
this song gets started, you certainly will be rocking it with me, won't you? I mean, you know, I just love your energy.
Oh, I love you.
I mean, your voice is one thing, but your energy, it just exudes that whole voice and that whole presence. So grateful and thankful to be here. And that's what this song is about. It's called Thankful. I wrote it as book play, and I'm so grateful and thankful for that wonderful, wonderful releasing that we can all have, and be thankful that we can start a new year and be grounded in thankfulness and gratitude. You know, in the play it talks about how rock and roll artists, they started in the church. That's where they got the soul from. People don't realize that. Little Richard was a minister. You know, Jerry Lee Lewis came from a Christian family. So did Johnny Cash. So you had this purveyance of soul coming through the church, going into the rock and roll. So we're going to rock and roll today, but from the church.
It's only rock and roll.
Yes, all it is. People don't realize it's all rock and roll.
Yep. And I like
It's the blues sped up. That's what rock and roll is. You'll learn all this stuff when you come see the play in 2 weeks at the library. You learn all this stuff about the history of rock and roll, as well as its roots and where it comes from, race music and the blues, and how it all started with Muddy Waters, and all of this is in the play. So you come and see it. So
January 18th and 19th.
January 18th and 19th. January 18th at 7 p.m., January 19th at 2 p.m. free.
Free to the public. It's a free public.
I don't know how that could be. I don't do many free
Well,
things.
you know,
So that's
God worked that one
incredible.
out. Yeah, God would work that one out. I was fortunate to receive the library partnered with me and gave me their facilities for over $5,000. I had to Samstown to house my director from out of New York for 20 days. I received a National Endowment for the Arts grant, a National Endowment for the Humanities grant, and a Walmart grant recently. So we were working on this. The soul of rock and roll. And the CD soundtrack I'm selling out there. It is the soundtrack for the play if you want to come get it. This is on it. And be thankful. Here we go.
Every morning when I wake up, I'm ahead of the game. I wake up and I see the sun. The day is not the same. It's a new day, full of possibilities. It's a new day, full of opportunity. Every morning I am thankful. Every morning I will pray. Every morning I'll be grateful, and the Lord will give me His best. I'm thankful, yes I am. I'm thankful, yes I am. I'm thankful, yes I am. When I'm thankful, I am blessed. Every time I help someone, I feel nothing less than joy and peace and so much love. I'm full of happiness. Oh, it's a new day. I'm filled with gratitude. It's a new day. I've got a new gratitude. Hey, every morning I am thankful. Every morning I will pray. Every morning I'll be grateful, and the Lord will give me His best. I'm thankful, yes I am. That's right. I'm thankful every day, every day. I'm thankful, I'm thankful, I'm thankful. When I'm thankful, I'm blessed. Oh, so thankful to you. I'm thankful. Oh, every time the day begins, I feel so renewed. Life I know I've been living, I've so much left to do. Hey, it's a new day. I got God on my side. It's a new day. It's a good
ministers to please come forward. Any visiting ministers or practitioners to please come forward. I'd like to ask our ministry of prayer team to please come forward. They are here for you today and always. They are the spiritual arm of our center. They hold this place up. And believe me, it's a good thing. All right. And I've given you an awesome closing prayer, so I think you can stand and connect, and we will sing our peace song.
That's what I love.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and now it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and now it begins with me.
Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
I know this in my mind.
I know this in my mind.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my body.
And so it is.